Haba obviously gets the top of the depth chart across from Deslin. How did you see him progress through this camp, and especially coming off of last year's injury?
Yeah, I'm really proud of how he's recovered physically, and I think he's doing a great job taking care of his body, and then he's approaching the game like a veteran should. He's doing a great job preparing mentally every day, doing everything he can to get every tip he can to steal a play, and playing with some great technique. So he's had a great fall camp, and I'm excited to see him play on Saturday.
How about his leadership? We saw at times that we were able to watch Partridge where he's going up and putting his arm around guys. How valuable is that?
Yeah, the credit goes to Haba in terms of not only his ability to teach, but his empathy when he sees a young player who's down on himself because they're shocked by the level of play, like every young player deals with. Haba has the ability to feel a human's emotions and go over and help lift them up and help make them better. And that style of leadership for Haba is going to carry him a long way in football and in life.
You got two guys that are in the NFL impact, Rashad, just off of this last draft. How much do you kind of need a lad like Haba and Deslin, the guys that say like, hey, that was.
Not a ton, to be honest with you. They know they're there. If anything, you're talking about the standard of the room. And a lot of things we refer to as the standard isn't what we preach; it's what we're willing to tolerate. And they're holding each other to a high standard all the time. And you certainly reference what those two were able to accomplish through their hard work. And if anything, that's where you're using it. We're proud of those guys, and hopefully they hear good news today because I know 3 o'clock is the time.
How good can a healthy Keyshawn Camp be this season?
I'm really excited to see if he can remain healthy. Knock on wood. He's talented. He's working hard. He's a great kid, and he's had a really, really good fall camp. He's been able to stay out of the training room, other than take normal, taking care of his body type things and recovery. But there's no question the amount of potential in that young man is pretty special.
As far as numbers go, how deep can you go at tackle and how deep can you go at end?
Well, I think there's 6 guys at tackle. And I actually brought this with me, which I normally wouldn't do. But you're looking at Cansey, Camp, Devin, Green, Bentley, Jules, that I really all believe can play winning football with some other guys behind them that are developing. I think you're going to see a lot this year by committee. Patrick and Weaver last year had come to a point where it was hard to take them off the field. And I'm a simple guy, simple math. On average, there's 80 plays a game, so there's 160 D tackle reps, 160 D end reps. Last year, of those 160 reps, Weaver and Jones were going to get roughly 100 to 110, and I was going to, simple math, right? And you're going to separate out the remaining. I think you're going to see more of a balance, And I think I got some pretty good depth outside at the end position too. And I think our advantage this year is going to be keeping them fresh, keeping them playing fast, doing a lot of things by committee. I'm excited to see that.
Especially in September when the weather's warm. Right?
There's no question, yeah. And I just think, as the level of competition goes up, the more depth we have, the better we're going to be as a unit.
Charlie, where do you feel Haba was going into last season? Obviously, because of that injury, and it's a rough year for him.
Yeah, it was a year ago. I'll refer to where he is this year. If I understand your question, I'm excited about where he is now.
Can Nakai help you guys this year?
He's a guy that freshman, all of them are doing really well. But I think him coming in early gave him an advantage, got him used to, a lot of the things that they're learning is language related. There's a lot of words, and you guys have, I'm sure, been in football meetings at some point. People that have never been in one walk in and literally think we're speaking a foreign language. And the guy was able to get ahead on some of those things, and because of that, he's got an advantage in terms of comparing him to the other freshmen, and I do think he has a chance to get in the rotation. He's done a nice job.
You joked about at the start of camp about how he did like the Hulk meme with you, I think.
Yeah.
And just how you recruiters and
Sure.
how you coach. How is he kind of taking that on through his first training camp?
Yeah, I think he's now starting to see that what I want is for him to be his best. I think a young kid gets shocked when they're being held to a high standard. What he's referring to, I joked about, if you ever watch Marvels, you have the Smart Hulk, and then you have, Smash Hulk. And he posted something saying recruiting coach with the Smart Hulk and position coach with the Mean Hulk, which I went right to him. I was like, come on, Kai, really? He goes, kind of. Which is all good because, as you mature, what you realize is when someone is demanding something high of you, they think a lot of you. And Kai now, when I am demanding that he perform at a high level, can smile and take the coaching, which is part of maturing.
What did Jules show you this camp?
To Jules' credit, he's really fixed some part of the mental parts of the game. When things change, he can. If you make a call and run a call, he's got no problem. Prior to this camp, when things change, because things change, formation change, we have to check in or out of a blitz, fronts changes, whatever it may be. That was challenging for him. To his credit, he's worked really hard to be able to manage those changes, which has allowed his talent to now flourish in the right places. So he's had a really nice camp. He in my mind, has made maybe you could argue the biggest jump from day one to where we are today going into the first game.
Pat told us that Dayon missed a couple days because of injuries or nicks and bruises.
Mm-hmm.
How did you feel like he did through camp and then finished camp getting ready for the season?
Dayon's approach towards the end of the season, off season, and all the way through when he missed a couple days, he nicked up, nothing serious, thankfully. He's now approaching things again more like the veterans are. He's getting the extra film. When he can't get to me because I'm in a defensive staff meeting or whatever it may be, he seeks out an older player. Because of that, I'm excited to see what Dayon's going to do for us this year and his technique. Everything. The tide is rising with Dayon, and this has the potential to be a really special year for him as a first, real true contributor, and not just filling in what we need.
Charlie, it was a tough spring for UMass, but I know they have a number. How is game planning for a team that's got a bunch of transfers and first game of the year, all that
Sure.
stuff?
I think any first game creates its challenges. You start to defend ghosts when you look at a team too long. Obviously the head coach is taking over the play calling duties, so we've looked at a number of games where he was calling the plays. 2 offensive tackles that transferred in, the quarterback from Colorado. So we've seen film on all these guys. One of the tackles that transferred started at LSU, went to a junior college, went to La Tech, went to Michigan, now is at UMass. So we're all over the place and finding film on these guys. It's just one example. But at the end of the day, I think everyone who's coordinated has a core belief system, and anytime you see where he's involved in the offense, you see a core set of plays that he wants to work to. But we're going to have to be ready to adjust on the sideline, and we're trying to do our best to alert the kids in ways that they understand that. We're also, any play that was explosive against us last year, we're exposing them to that in practice, knowing that they may try and copycat those plays from last season.
You saw Deslin, he's named team captain, he's one of the top guys. How have you seen, how being the starter across from, how have you seen their kind of relationship with those two kind of working together and growing from each other?
Yeah, they feed off each other, certainly. They work a lot together in the film room. They bounce ideas off each other. What's been fun for me to see is, because a lot of times when you get out into action, the thing to watch choreograph is them and the tackle next to them. And what's fun for me to see is how as I'm rolling guys through, there's a bigger rapport being built. The way they're able to communicate with each other, no matter who I'm rolling through, has been fun to see develop. And like I said, I think I got 5 or 6 inside and outside that can all work pretty well together.
Have you guys seen the offensive line getting better this spring than maybe it was last season?
Yeah, this I'll tell you, I'll give Borbs a ton of credit. This group has been impressive to see develop. Between Carter Warren and Gabe, and I hate to single guys out, but I think Owen Drexel has done a great job inside. Like I already mentioned, Gabe. Blake Zabovic inside has done a nice job. Marcus Minor has been a heck of an addition to this group. They're playing together. They're playing with pride. They're playing physical. It's been an extremely competitive camp, and I think that's really helped turn the notch up for the D-line in terms of we need to come out and compete every day going against these guys, and it's fun to see that offensive line development. I'm excited to see what they can do on Saturday.